Hi all, now we are going to see about preprocessor directives, which is a continuation of the topic structure and union. Now we are going to see about preprocessor directive. Let's move on to the video. So preprocessor, what is a preprocessor? Preprocessor are programs that process the source code before compilation. This process is called preprocessing. Commands used in preprocessor are called preprocessor directives and they begin with symbol hash. Okay, so they begin with the symbol hash. So this is the preprocessor in C, which we saw in the previous videos. So the program process flow, file name in each step. First, the source code will be processed with the preprocessor. At that time, the file name will be sample.c. Then it will be converted into expanded source code. Then it will be in the form sample.i, that is file name.i. Then that expanded source code only will be passed into the compiler. After passing into the compiler, we'll get assembly source code, which is in the form of file name.s. So here the file name is sample, so I have used sample.s. Then the assembly source code will be passed into the assembler. Then it will be converted into the object code. Here it will be in the form of sample.o. Then it will be passed into the linker. Then we get executable code. Then the file name will be file name.exe. Then it will be passed into the loader. Then the execution. So preprocessor direct replaces hash define macro, hash include files, conditional compilation, codes like hash if def, hash if and def by their respective values in source code and source file. So at second stage, compiler compiles expanded source code to assembly source code. Then it is a program that converts assembly source to the object code. Then the object code, this is the program that converts object code to executable code and also combines all object codes together. Next, executable code. Executable code is loaded in CPU and executed by loader program. So these are the preprocessor directive. First one is hash define, which is used to define a macro. Then hash undef, used to undefine a macro. Hash include, hash if def, hash if and def, hash if, hash else, hash end if. So these are all the major preprocessor directive we are going to use. So there are four main types of preprocessor directives. One is macros, second one is file inclusion, third one is conditional compilation, fourth one is other directives. So other directives we have undef directive and pragma directive. So preprocessor directives, macros. So macros are pieces of code in a program that is given some name. Whenever this name is encountered by the compiler replaces the name with actual piece of code. So syntax of macro definition is hash define the token value. So hash define limit 5. So this is the best example. In this program, when the compiler executes the word limit, it replaces it with 5. So there is no semicolon at the end of the macro definition. So macros with arguments. So this is the best example for macros with arguments. Pass arguments to macros. Macros defined with arguments work similarly to functions. So this is the best example. Hash define area of 1 comma b and 1 star b. So this is the macros with arguments. So next one is file inclusion. This type of preprocessor directive tells the compiler to include a file in the source code program. The hash include preprocessor directive is used to include the header files in the C program. So standard header files. So hash include stdir.h, hash include conio.h, hash include string.h. So these are the common standard header files. Next, user defined header files. When a program becomes very large, it is a good practice to divide into smaller files and include them whenever needed. These types of files are user-defined header files. For example, hash include our user-defined file name. The double quotes tell the compiler to search for the header file in the source files directory. So next one, conditional compilation. Conditional compilation in C directives is a type of directive that helps to compile a specific portion of the program or to skip the compilation of some specific part of the program based on some conditions. There are the following preprocessor directives that are used to insert conditional code. Hash if directive, hash if def directive, hash if and def directive, hash else directive, hash else if directive, hash end if directive. Hash end if directive is used to close off if def, if and def opening directives, which means the preprocessing of these directives is compiled. So this is the example for conditional compilation. So next we are going to see about last one, other directives. Undef directive. The undef directive is used to undefine an existing macro. This directive works as hash undef limit. So the next one is pragma directive. This directive is a special purpose directive and is used to turn on off some feature. These types of directives are compiler specific, that is they vary from compiler to compiler. So this is the example of pragma directive.